Pinching your last wire endings into place and stepping back to look at the piece that you finished is a uniquely satisfying moment. But in this video, I'm going to walk you through a few steps that I use for polishing to really bring your pieces to the next level. I'm going to show you this process on two different pieces. One that includes 28 and 30 gauge round woven textures, and one that's all half round and round textures. Generally speaking, the videos on my channel only utilize pliers and cutters for the main tools. For this project, we're going to be using a couple different rotary tools. The handpiece that I use is this Foredom Flex Shaft. It's a rotary tool controlled by a foot pedal that allows me to have both of my hands free while I'm working on the piece. If you don't have access to a tool like this, you can use the same methods in a standard chuck style drill. Our first step is going to be to use these 3M Bristle Discs on our piece. These are color coded in terms of their grit. My pink is going to be my most aggressive that I use on a wire wrap. My peach is going to be the middle. And then finally, we'll finish with our green. Each of these wheels does have a micro abrasive embedded in it that can be damaging to the stones or even your wire if you're not careful. You always want to use incredibly light pressure and keep these away from softer stones. I've started with my pink bristle disc in my handpiece. We're going to go ahead and with a slow speed, we're going to brush the entire texture of our wire. This stone is a golden apatite, which is a fairly soft stone, and I want to be very careful to avoid brushing it with my bristle disc. By bracing my piece against my thumb, I'm able to have a little bit more control over the handpiece as we polish. Once we've brushed our whole piece from both directions, following along the wire and then following across the wire, we can switch to our next grit. With my peach, we're going to repeat the same process, brushing our entire piece and being careful to avoid contact with our stone. Once we've brushed our whole piece with our peach wheel, we're going to do it one final time with our green wheel. If you're going to repeat the same process that I'm using with a power drill, this is the most comfortable way that I've found for it to work. I'm going to use my left hand to control the drill, placing it on its side so that it has a nice even surface. I'm going to give full throttle to the drill and then use my right hand to guide the piece along the way. With all three grits of our bristle discs finished, we can move on to applying a polish to our piece. To apply our polish, I will be using a soft felt wheel with a ZAM polishing compound. This ZAM polishing compound is my favorite to use on silver wire-wrapped pieces. It's not too aggressive and it won't scratch the surface of your stones, but it leaves a delightful polish on your finished pieces. It is worth noting, with any sort of polishing compound, they are silicon-based and they do kick up a lot of nasty dust. You should use this in a well-ventilated area with the proper face and eye protection. To load our buff with compound, we're going to go ahead and just rub the wheel through the top of our polish. From here we can use this wheel that's loaded with our ZAM on our piece. As I'm polishing the piece, I'll often follow the lines that my wires trace down, running straight down and through the direction of the piece to give a nice even polish to the tops of all of my wire. Now that we're finished with the polishing, we can see that there's still some leftover polish and fluff from our wheel embedded in our piece. We're going to use a soft toothbrush and some hot water to go ahead and remove that from the piece. It's important to remember to dedicate a new toothbrush right out of the package for this process. Toothpaste is also a microabrasive that gets embedded in a used toothbrush that could cause small scratches or abrasions to your piece. As I'm cleaning my piece off, I usually will load my dedicated toothbrush here with a little bit of Dawn dish soap to help loosen any of the leftover polish. I'm going to set this piece off to the side so we can go through the polishing process on our second piece and rinse both of them at the same time. This piece utilized both 28 and 30 gauge wire for some of those small accenting weaves and coils. 28 and 30 gauge are inherently much more fragile wires than something that's just like an exposed half round. So instead of starting with my pink wheel, which is slightly more aggressive, I'm going to start with just the peach wheel. I want to use incredibly gentle pressure on any of those woven sections as we're running our wheel through. Our unwoven sections in this piece are going to be the most noticeable difference as we run this wheel through. I do want to go ahead and just give a nice topical run through on any of the coiled or woven sections, but I want to pay careful attention to any of the bright highlights like these half rounds or rectangle looking wires. Once I've run our whole piece through our peach wheel, it's time to repeat the same process with the green wheel. Unlike our other stone, the stones featured in this piece are incredibly hard. I have some blue sapphires and a nice demoiterite quartz point here. I'm less concerned about running my wheel over these stones because it isn't quite as strong enough abrasive to damage either stone. Once we've run through all of our bristle discs, we're going to go ahead and repeat the same process with our ZAM on our flannel buff. Once we've run through our bristle discs, we're going to repeat the same process with our ZAM on a felt buff. This time as we're polishing, we're going to follow the grain of any coiled or woven sections so that our wheel is running long ways with the wires included. With both pieces polished, let's go ahead and rinse these ones off. With both of our pieces now rinsed and dried, we have one more step to complete the process. The last step in my polishing routine is to use a polishing cloth to remove any of my leftover fingerprints and add some last-minute highlights. With our last step complete, our pieces are now ready to be photographed, worn, or sent out to their new homes. I hope this video helps give a little bit of insight into how my polishing process works for wire-wrapped jewelry. I've placed links to all of the tools that I used in this video in the description below, as well as all the information for my Patreon. If you're interested in helping support the channel, that is the place to do it. If you found this video helpful, go ahead and give it a like and subscribe to my channel for more content similar in the future. If there's a tool that you use in your polishing process that you don't see me using, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. A special thank you goes out to all the names on your screen for supporting this channel through Patreon. What I'm doing would not be possible without your support. If you're interested in helping support the channel, follow the link in the description below this video. If you found this video helpful, leave me a like on the video. It helps me a lot with the visibility of my videos in YouTube's algorithms. To be the first to know when I upload new content, go ahead and subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to be notified when new videos are available. Thank you for watching, and happy wrapping.